Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the most anticipated and most dreaded race of the season here in the Midwest F1 League, the Monaco Grand Prix. 19 corners make up this tight and tricky 3.3-kilometer street circuit that stretches almost the entire country, and with only one DRS zone qualifying will mean everything. Virtual Pirelli have given us the fastest tires in the Pirelli range with the C5 softs, C4 mediums, and C3 hards. This one is going to be interesting. Not only is it the first time back on Monaco in this new game, of course we had the F2 race yesterday, but the new one as far as, actual league racing, it's going to be a nighttime race for one thing. We've hopefully had this race been set to midnight. And also, quick rule update, as tonight the entirety of the Midwest F1 League is reverting back to standard safety car level rates after last night's fiasco in F2, which, if you didn't watch the F2 stream, that sounds like, just any other night in F2, but last night it was a little bit ridiculous with how many DNFs there were, and no safety cars. So, that is that. Hopefully Michael Massey, virtual Michael Massey, takes a break from viewing Toto's email and keeps the race tonight a clean one. Now, a absolute mess of driver changes tonight to keep up with as Villeneuve comes in for Ray 46 in the Haas. Snooker and KD35 take over the entire Alpine F1 team tonight. Shelley the Turtle fills in for Hammer, and the Ferrari Evil Prime makes his return to the Red Bull for Tiger NASCAR. Remember last week he beached it over in Turn 1. Was able to get his points back, though, as that is just such an unfortunate way about it. So he has actually been allowed to get his time, or his race back, so that is good news. And it looks like the Alpine of Snooker is going to be the first out on track. So Evil Prime makes his return to the Red Bull in place of Tiger NASCAR. Mitch Burns in for Dead Text Message in the Alfa Romeo. Finally, Chunky Corgi, a familiar face here in the Midwest F1 League, fills in for Puff Digital in the AlphaTauri. As you can see there, Snooker already taking up the entirety of the Grand Hotel hairpin, going straight over the brick curbing there. And also it's worth pointing out Danny Nico in the Mercedes as a qualifying ban from an incident last week. So he's going to be starting P20 tonight, which, this is Monaco, so that could actually be fairly decently helpful to some of these drivers. I tell you what, definitely starting either towards the immediate front of the grid or really towards the back is going to be helpful here, as we see Snooker takes his time through Riskas and through Anthony Nogues and over into the start line. So let's start this, impromptu track guide. So going down into Saint-Devat, you're going to go the way all down into second gear. Now you could take it through third to get more speed, although it kind of disables the line a little bit. Through uphill and around Casino. That's not Casino. Yeah, that is Casino, actually. I'm losing my entirety of the place. Just be careful not to have oversteer on exit of Massenet, and into Mirabeau they go. Pretty straightforward here. Down into second. Now, you can't speed up here into the hairpin, go into third, like Snooker's done, and then drop down back to first for the hairpin. Now, at 7 and 8, now it tells you to go up, it tells you to go down to first and then into, back up into second, so it's confusing on shifting there. Portier and the tunnel, fairly straightforward. Now the braking zone on an exit of tunnel, you're going to want to take in about 7th gear here, get all the way back down into second, and try to take as much as the curb as you can, right there, and then through to back. Now that's an interesting one, through turn 4. Now you really got to take it easy over the curbs there, like we saw Charles Leclerc did not do in his go this past season. And as Snooker goes through Riskas now, pretty straightforward here as well. Just be careful of the inside barrier, and then to the 1 DRS zone. And that's going to be your impromptu track guide. And Snooker's going to set a 114.4. Not a bad lap whatsoever from the Alpine driver. However, he's been absolutely blown out of the water by Chunky Corgi, who set a 112.4, 2 seconds faster. That, I find, is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm assuming we're going to see more times in that range there, as, Snooker in that Alpine. Now, 114 is probably not that fast of a lap, and if you want any indication on how slow of a lap that could potentially be, the F2 guys are running about 119s on a good lap. As we saw Impossible Bacon yesterday, he was running 118, so looks like 112 is going to be the lap to beat here as Humble Hippo comes in, puts in, wow, KD35 in the Alpine this week, a 109. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really study the times this much for Monaco in the F1 cars. I've obviously, me being racing in the F2 division, focused a lot of my time there. And so I thought 112 was going to be a good lap, as it turns out, it's nowhere near perfect. Still was 2 seconds faster, mind you, but, not the point. Noganator in the Mercedes, he's taken P2 at the moment, currently a purple Sector 1. Not bad at the moment, and as he heads through Portier. A little bit early into third gear there. Didn't really get to the rev limiter just enough. Maybe trying to short shift, give himself maybe a little bit of breathing room going into the chicane here. Over the curbing he goes. Definitely looks to be doing okay. And as he heads into Sector 3, let's see how he does. Sector 3 does not go purple in, so I think he's taken a little bit slower through there, and specifically coming out of Portier is where I think he's lost a lot of his time there. Now into Riscas. Seems to be doing pretty okay here into the DRS zone. He goes. I think he's on a pretty decent lap here. He's going to go 111.6. Now that's good enough for P2 from the Noganator. Not a bad lap at all. Villeneuve in the Haas. So yeah, Ray 46. Oh, what do we have here? I believe that's the Alpine of Snooker, who's off. I say off. He's just kind of taking a break there on exit of Portier. But Villeneuve in the Haas now. He's in place of Ray 46, who, if I had my notes correctly. Okay, do excuse the interruption. Something very alarming has gone on with my audio equipment there, as my headset had some sort of glitch to it. It said it switched to USB headset. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Although we almost had a catastrophic incident there when I was able to somehow save the recording of that last bit there. Now, Shelley the Turtle in the Ferrari. See how he's doing now. Villeneuve has come in the Haas, and I believe he was subbing in for Ray 46 this week, and if I can get the notes open without failure this time, I'll be able to tell you what exactly he's up to this week, as Ray 46 has been substituted into Division 2 once again, where I think, honestly, he rightfully belongs. After, so he's come out with a win this past week in Spain after Raid Cohn was found to have made a penalty-worthy mistake under safety car with Kaz. Where he's overtaken Kaz under the safety car, despite Kaz going a little bit slowly, which was the hot topic of the stewards' chat this past go-around. But Raid Cohn was found to be in violation there, and it's actually been stressed not to be overtaking under the safety car unless absolutely necessary. And if you want to see an example of absolutely necessary, remember me at, I believe it was Season 2 of F2, where we were in Singapore. And Tim Lee just absolutely spun it around on entrance to the bridge. So that is a situation where you absolutely need to pass under safety car. That is the only reason to be passing under safety car, and Ray Cohn has been notified of that, and unfortunately the penalty has taken the win away from him. So Ray 46 goes out, wins that race, goes back last night, wins the F2 race, and is now up into Division 2. So let's here's hoping for a good result from him. Evil Prime in the Red Bull. Now, this was a strong contender last week in Spain as he goes into the pits, so we'll pick up on him later. Chunky Corgi, now he's come back. It's been a little while since we've seen Chunky Corgi in action here. Of course, this is only week 2 of the season, but it's been a while for me personally seeing him in action. And oh, he's hit the wall going through Massenet there. Definitely not what you need, and he's absolutely crunched his lap there. Now let's go along with K-Dog in the Williams as she goes into... what is this? This is Tabac here. Didn't even go down into 4th, stayed into 5th, and then actually went up into 6th. Interesting strategy here from K-Dog as she chooses not to go. Oh, it's Snooker. Disqualified from session for blocking the pit lane. Now, did he block the exit, or did he block the entrance? Because, honestly, I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. K-Dog manages to go P7 at the moment, but I'm not entirely sure what's happened with Snooker. That was a very interesting turn of events, and as you can see, Chunky Corgi has done something to go off there in the chicane. It doesn't look like he's picked up all that much damage, so I'm assuming he's just kind of gone around to hit the barrier on the entrance to the chicane with your left rear tire, which is easy to do sometimes. But Snooker gets disqualified. And that's definitely not what you need with if you are the Alpine team who is reliant. Well, first of all, I mean, it could be a blessing in disguise. You know, we are at Monaco. Things do tend to happen into turn 1. No heroics into sign of off, please, though it is known to happen from time to time. And if you are Alpine right now, I mean, that's not what you need as far as constructors, because, I mean, you definitely need points. And actually, let's go over constructors right now. So Haas sits P1 at 90 points. Williams only 3 behind at 87. Mercedes only 4 behind at 86. And then the gap goes up to 20 as the Red Bull sit in 4th at 66. Aston Martin at 54. Ferrari at 49, Alpine only 3 points behind in 7th at 46, Alfa Romeo only 6 back in 8th at 40, and then McLaren in 9th at 38, and AlphaTauri in 10th at 34. Now, last week was definitely, I mean, you definitely wanted to be either a Haas driver or a Williams driver last week. Specifically, I think the Williams, as they were one of the only teams, I think the only team, to finish with both drivers left in the field. I think every other team just about had their secondary driver DNF'd there, and I think Haas could have been the other only exclusion to that rule. However, definitely not what they need. Now, Noganator, as we just saw, invalidating his lap time here. J.St. in the Red Bull. Now he's put himself P5 at the moment with a 111.2, about 0.3 of a second faster than his teammate of Evil Prime, who remains in the pits. And as you see, J.St. taking his merry time through this section of the track, just trying to get around nice and safely. P5 and up, I mean, is really where you want to be as far as starting on the grid here. I mean, really anything below that, you're starting to get into the danger zone. And that goes for any division, really, as we go along with Knuckles here in the Aston Martin. Stays through 6th gear, going through Louis Chiron, I believe is the name of that, if I got it correct. Into Rascassi goes, manages to not hit the, oh my god, I hate when this happens. Humble Hippo on board with now as he goes into Piscine here with the, or the swimming pool in English, into Rascasse. Now he's got the car in front of him going a little bit slower than he'd like. I think he actually hit the barrier on entrance to Rascasse, and that's going to slow him down just a little bit as he comes across the line. Humble Hippo goes P6 with a 111.372. Not bad there. From the Williams driver. His teammate of K-Dog currently P10. Smack dab in the middle of the field, not where she wants to be whatsoever. A couple other drivers making their way on track now. Here's a Villeneuve in the Haas on his timed lap as he heads through the tunnel. Interesting but pointless camera angle this is. Down into the Neuville chicane. It looks like he's actually going to take it maybe a little bit slower than he liked, but he took up a good amount of curb there. Not bad. Into Tabac. Stays 5th, goes into 6th, kind of almost glides through that corner there. This might be a little bit of a slower lap here from Villeneuve. Down into Rascasse, a little bit of oversteer when he's, I think unfortunately, botched his time there as he was already about a second off the pace, and that little incident there has not done him any good. Pork Chops, meanwhile, he's making his way into Rascasse now. Now he's gone and fit the medium tires, which sounds like, oh my god! Okay, sorry. I need to lower that. That's like the 5th time that's happened this race. Capital 58 now in the Aston Martin. He's got the Williams behind him. I believe that's K-Dog on the way, and yeah, that is the case. About 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Oh, and Z Smith, I believe that is. No, that is Villeneuve, who's, I think, completely botched K-Dog's timed lap there, and hopefully has not caused her any damage, as that would be absolutely horrendous there, and you'd have to believe that Villeneuve would probably be under investigation for that. So, depending on if he's under investigation for that or not, I'm going to throw up the graphic in 3, 2, 1, now. Mitch Burns with 109.67 takes late provisional pole, only less than 0.2 of a second. Yeah, less than 0.2 of a second off the leader here, off of KD35. Now KD35, I thought put together an absolutely monstrous lap. So apparently it was just barely outdone there, and I hope K-Dog's going to have enough gumption left to start another timed lap up, maybe a little earlier into 3rd gear there. That surprised me a little bit. Seems to have a good line going into Massenet now. That's the interesting. If you take that corner, Massenet, if you take that too tight, there is a possibility that you can hit this one little bump and have a bit of oversteer going through it. And K-Dog's done well to avoid that there. Down into, holds it in second, going through the hairpin there. Up into third. Now you want to be taking these quarters at second or thereabouts, and it looks like K-Dog. Now, I tell you what, K-Dog has been the only driver so far that I've seen that's been, I don't want to say manipulating the gears, but definitely experimenting with them a lot more than some of these other drivers have. I wonder how much work she's put in time trials in her own rights. That's an interesting way about it, I'll tell you what. But more drivers are starting to pick up on that trend of going through, I believe that's Louis Chiron, in 5th and 6th gear. Usually you're taking that at about 4th, maybe a low 5th, but not the case for K-Dog. Round Anthony Noakes she goes now to the line. This doesn't look like that bad of a lap, and K-Dog's going to go P9, not jumping up that far with a 111.37s. A 777 there. 2 minutes left to go in the session. Humble Hippo has DNF'd. Evil Prime sets a purple sector 2. Looks to be on a flying lap. Oh, and he's just barely caught some oversteer there. Hopefully that doesn't mess up his time any more than he'd like. He looks to still be on a flying lap here around Anthony Noakes. It's going to be a close one at the line. I don't think it's going to have a match for pole here, but he's going to go P5. Pretty solid lap there from Evil Prime. He's going to jump SC Smith in the process. All but 5 laps. All but 5 drivers on track right now. A little bit of an incident there, and that looks to be Kaz in the McLaren. Now, what's happened to him? Has he just lost the car? No, he's just trying to let his teammate by of ZGS, who has yet to set a time lap now, is on his out lap. Now, ZGS gone with the medium compound here. Looks like all but 3 drivers have chosen the medium compound. All but 3 have chosen the soft compound, rather. The 3 being Racing Ginger, Danny Nico, who did not get a chance to set the lap with the quali band, and ZGS now on the medium tires. Some drivers setting their best on the mediums, as Villeneuve has gone off. Where is that? In the pits. Good news there, as ZGS doing his thing now. KD35 has invalidated his lap. We won't need to worry about him. Noganator, next up, who could be challenging for provisional pole here, has yet to invalidate his lap. Maybe going a little bit slowly. Oh, he's going to go into the pits, isn't it? Maybe a little disappointing. Well, maybe he's trying to save the tires. You never know as he takes his merry time through his gas here. No, he's going to choose to go into the pits, not even going to make an effort for pole. That's a little depressing. Evil Prime has invalidated what is probably his final lap. JST has invalidated what's probably his final lap. Chunky Corgi validated what's probably his final lap. Pork Chops has yet to invalidate on his final flying lap here. He's fit a fresh soft compound tire. The League Lord and Savior makes his way through the Grand Hotel hairpin into Portier. Looks to be pretty decently good on the accelerator. I tell you what, this doesn't look like a bad lap from Pork Chops. He might have something here. Maybe top 10. A little bit late down into second gear. Drops down to first accidentally, I think, and could have ruined his lap a little bit there. I'm not going to lie. Takes up all of the curving there out of Piscine. Pork Chop's going to be coming around to the line now. I don't think he's going to be contending for pole here, although it doesn't look like that bad of a lap, and Pork Chop's going to go P12. It jumps up 2 spots in the process, and I don't think KD35 is going to be getting another time lap in. Oh, maybe he is. KD35 to the line. Less than 1/10 of a second off the top time of Mitch Burns. 0.91 the gap between first and seconds. Wow. Very interesting qualifying session there, and I tell you what, this one is going to mean a lot for this race as Mitch Burns takes pole position. KD35 in second, the Noganator third, Shelley the Turtle fourth, Evil Prime fifth, SC Smith in sixth, JC in seventh, Knuckles eighth, Humble Hippo ninth, K-Dog K in 10th, Chunky Corgi 11th, Pork Chops 12th, Kaz in 13th, 14th is Villeneuve, 15th Racing Ginger. 16th is EGS, 17th VTEC, 18th Capital 58, 19th D&E Nico, and then 20th is Snooker ML. Now, D&E Nico should be starting P20 here with the qualifying ban he had, although Snooker ML gets disqualified in the game session, so he's going to be starting this one from P20. 20 seconds in, that sounds like a good enough time to press the X button. Pain. Who's done it? And somebody... And so here we are starting our formation lap here, and we want to remind you that this edition of the Midwest F1 League is brought to you by Raise Energy. Now, Raise Energy is becoming one of the fastest growing brands in the United States right now. And it's all because of their top-of-the-line flavors and precise formulas that ensure you're getting the most out of every can, and with no dyes, filters, or fillers, or unnecessary junk. Raise Energy will get the job done. A smooth energy drink with no crash afterwards. What more could you want? Visit repsports.com and use promo code MWF1 at checkout for 15% off your order. Click the link in the description to begin your supply of Raise Energy. And also be sure to check out the Slipstream podcast on Spotify and anywhere else podcasts are available, as Adel, Tony, and Linky 12 discuss all things Formula One and Midwest F1 League related. Very fun podcast to be a part of, and a very good time in general. And as we take a look at... need to breathe after that, all this clout. So if we're going to look at the tires here, now tire strategy this week is definitely going to be the hardest race to follow of all season, with an absolute plethora of different options. You could go soft to medium, soft to hards, medium to hard. It's all going to come down to qualifying results and what you do qualifying on. Do note the softs will last between 9 and 12 laps, mediums 26 to 30, and look for many people to box at the earliest safety cards, as the hards can last over 35 laps, and that's if you're in the top 10 and start on the soft compound. So Chunky Corgi and the rest of the field, minus Snooker, probably going to be taking a overcut strategy here. Everybody in the top 10, though, is going to have the benefit of an early safety car. They'll be able to box early, put on the hards, get to the end of the race. That one's going to be fun to watch there. As the field comes back, it actually took me a whole lap to read off my clouts there. That's impressive. As the grid lines up to their appropriate position, as we're going to just have no thing here. Oh, I really hope at least one of these camera angles gives me a good view of the lights, as these are all terrible, absolutely garbage camera angles that this game gives us. Not one F1 broadcast would be shown like this. But anyways, lights are coming on. It's lights out and away we go here in the streets of Monaco, and I believe Mitch Burns got the best start out of that, but the Alpine of KD35 to the outside, but the Mercedes of the Noganator to the inside, and it looks like everybody at the moment has made it through Saint-Devote cleanly. No heroics being shown there. However, Mitch Burns out to a commanding lead at the beginning. KD35 was able to make it through, and it looks like we have an incident there a little bit further back, but nothing to be afraid of as far as the safety car goes. And as they head down into the hairpin, it looks like everything's going to be nice and clean for the start here, as we have Mitch Burns, KD35, and the Noganator leading the field through these first couple corners. However, a little bit further back, Chunky Corgi almost getting overtaken there. A little bit of a mix-up back there. Kaz making the overtake on, I believe that's K-Dog. K-Dog, what's happened to K-Dog? She's fallen back all the way to P13 since the start. Not what she needed there, but Kaz doing a good job to make the overtake there. Oh, and front wings flying everywhere, and that is Chunky Corgi, whose front wing, well, it's gone. It's not there. It's just not there anymore. Chunky Corgi's definitely going to have a hard time navigating the circuit, and there he goes. Oh, and he's in a terrible spot of the track as well, because what he's done, he's binned it right in the middle of where you turn into the corner. And about 6 drivers almost hit the vehicular corpse of Chunky Corgi there. But minus that, the field's done okay so far. Only 1 DNF. It only took us 1 lap. Not bad. I've seen worse. Ask the Formula 2 lads from last night. I'm sure they'd tell you otherwise. Field looks to have spread out just a little bit between Humble Hippo and Pork Chops here. I believe that's on lap 1. Pork Chops doesn't appear to be having a leaderboard glitch at this moment in time. A little bit further back, and it looks like Knuckles is making the overtake on Z Smith. Nicely done there. KD35 picking up 3 seconds already for multiple warnings. Now, I wonder where he's picked that up, because he's just going into the chicane now. That's an interesting... I'm not really sure where he's picked that up, to be honest. But multiple warnings he's received, and a penalty he's got. Through the chicane they go. All looks cleanly for now, and then Shelly Turtle goes and proves that curses are real, and then goes ahead and blocks the circuit and dies. Yeah, well, that one is completely and totally Shelly the Turtle's fault there, and he will definitely be picking up a penalty for that. As SZ Smith, an unfortunate end to his day there. As Evil Prime DNFs as well. What's happened to Evil Prime? He's gone off on the exit into Anthony Noakes. What's happened here? Let's see if we can find a way through. What exactly has happened to Evil Prime? And oh, look at this. He's hit the barrier through Anthony Noakes. What has happened? So unfortunate for Evil Prime, who I thought was on pace to have a really good day, but lap 2 claims 2 more drivers. And I believe it almost claimed Pork Chops there as well. It looked like he went a bit wide through that corner, if I'm honest. A couple of drivers entering the pits now. That happens to be Shelly the Turtle and Racing Ginger. A little bit further back, we have VTech and Snooker in a battle for position here. Now, Snooker's made his way up to P12, and I think we have a full safety car here. Nope, maybe not. Just a VSC, I guess. I couldn't really tell, just a VSC. Didn't really get a thing on my screen to say what that was, but, you know, it's whatever. Into the hairpin they go. Now, if you were watching the Division 2 race last season, you'll notice that Snooker just hit the wall right there. But if you were watching the Division 2 race last season, you'd notice people try to make overtakes in that hairpin. Believe it or not, who says you can't overtake in Monaco? Those guys definitely proved us otherwise, as lots of interesting moments happened there, that is for sure. And looks like KD35 could be making an overtake on Mitch Burns here shortly, as we have a yellow flag over in Sector 3. Oh, who could that be? That's in an interesting part of the circuit, that is. And it looks like VTech. VTech's gone off. Capital 58 picks up a drive-through penalty for severe collision. Can we get down to possibly DNA Nico here, or Racing Gender, to see what exactly has happened? No, it looks like, well, that's going to be it, as he's gone off. Well, in a very interesting part of the spot there, he's gone off on exit of Piscine. As now Racing Ginger comes through, and I believe he's just kind of smacked the wall there. So 4 cars in 4 laps. Not exactly a statistic that I'd be proud of, however. Not bad racing otherwise, just a little bit of DNFs here and there. Just Monaco, nothing new. KD35 still holding this gap so closely to Mitch Burns, is having a pretty solid race here for the lead. And I think so, whilst we were going to go back to the case of Shelly the Turtle, I believe Shelly the Turtle probably going to be under investigation for that, as he's gone and tried to unwedge himself from exit of the Neuville chicane and went onto the circuit and unfortunately ended the race of SZ Smith there. And SZ Smith, mind you, was in a pretty decent position. Now here's ZGS making the overtake on Snooker with the DRS. Nicely done there. Unfortunately, we missed it as I was blabbering on about the DNF of SZ Smith. And it looks like Snooker... well, it's just been overtaken. Let's check in on Villeneuve. He's got 0.4 of a second back to Kaz. Into the hairpin they go, and it looks like someone just done a thing over there, and it looks like Villeneuve has just gone and smacked the wall there, although he doesn't have any wing damage, so I think he's gone away a little bit lucky. The field now starting to get a little bit more spread out. Now here's Kaz, 0.8 of a second back on Pork Chops, as Mitch Burns sets the fastest lap of the race. Now, KD35 has come in now, and he's going to fit the medium tires. Now, I don't know if this was too early for the medium tires. The medium tires, they're going to have to go 33 laps. That, I'm not sure, was the right decision, ladies and gentlemen. I think KD35, from the looks of it, from the initial look, has just ended his chance of a podium here, as I do not think fitting the mediums was the right decision. Unless he gets some sort of lucky safety car, which, you know, can happen sometimes. It's just how it goes. Yellow flag over in Sector 3. Not important, apparently, as it's cleared itself up quickly. Pork Chops on the back of Humble Hippo here as they go into Casino. Now, this one could get interesting here. Pork Chops in a very good position, P7 at the moment. Right to the back of Humble Hippo, down into the hairpin they go. Doing a good job so far of keeping it clean. It looks like Humble Hippo may have just had a snippet of oversteer right there. Almost ended his car, but did a good job of keeping it off the wall. Now Mitch Burns has etched out a 5, almost 6-second lead here on the rest of the field. That's just how close and how much pace that KD35 was having. In fact, he's been able to box and come out P5. ZGS made the overtake on Villeneuve. Now hopefully we can get a replay on that, as that was what I assume was a good move. I just didn't get a chance to see it. So many things happening here in Monaco, and this has been a nice little train of cars, these 4 cars have been. Pork Chops, 4/10 of a second back on Humble Hippo. Now he has the DRS, and oh, something's happened back there. That's Kaz, and Kaz has gone off on exit of Anthony Noakes. Now I can't catch along with it right now. I'll have to grab his footage off of what he sent me. Now let's go around this corner and find out what's happening. Yeah, he's just gone, and I believe he's just had a snap of oversteer coming out of Anthony Noakes, which can definitely happen. And his race, unfortunately, has taken an early end here, 7 laps in. 7 laps in, 5 DNFs. Not exactly a statistic Division 3 should be proud of. However, I'll tell you what, otherwise, not having some bad racing here. Not gone terribly, I will say. Now, I tell you what here, if your name is ZGS, you're kind of holed up in a difficult position here, because if we look at the tires, you got Pork Chops ahead of you on 6-lap old hards. You got Humble Hippo on 6-lap old soft, so you're kind of smack dab in the middle, though you're probably faster than Pork Chops right now. And I tell you what, I feel like one of these guys is going to make a big move here shortly. I really hope that it's a clean move, nonetheless, as KD35, he's going to come in again. Looks to be replacing a front wing, not what he needed, unfortunately, there. Although, where's he going to come out? Couldn't be less than P10, I believe. And it looks like P9 is going to be the answer. So he's been able to make 2 stops in the span of 2 laps and just absolutely get away with it here. That's an interesting way about it. I'd say, what, yellow flag in Sector 2. That looks to be, I believe, Humble Hippo. No, that's K-Dog, who has gone and DNF'd. Oh, what's happened with K-Dog? That's not what we wanted to see whatsoever. And yeah, I believe she's probably just had some oversteer going through the tunnel. Now, I mean, the tunnel is, you'd think it's fairly straightforward, but it's actually a difficult section of the track to go through. You know, you hit one wall and your car is suddenly spinning everywhere but suddenly going every which way but straight. ZGS to the back of Pork Chops. Now here he goes, he's gone for the bump, and that's not worked out now, has it? ZGS, I tell you what, I thought he might be getting impatient with Pork Chops here, and I think he's just shown his gearbox some of that as well, as he's gone straight to the back of it. So much is happening already, and I tell you what, this is really the only battling that's going on in the field, as Pork Chops starting to fade back just a little bit from Humble Hippo, about a second now. ZGS, I think, just made a mistake then, because he's lost a little bit of ground as well. Now, Pork Chops has done a very good job here so far. He's not gone for any ridiculous overtakes. He knows he's probably going to have somewhat of an advantage on tire strategy, potentially. I mean, he's going to definitely have to make the overcut work. Oh, and Humble Hippo's had a huge mistake. Pork Chops has gone into it. ZGS was able to take the line, and ZGS through the corner. Is he going to get both of them going down into Mirabeau? And ZGS is going to go from, I believe, 7th to... Oh, and Pork Chops gets into Humble Hippo. The league person, president, leader, supreme, overlord has gone and has absolutely almost binned Humble Hippo there going through the hairpin. Oh my! I bet the stewards are going to be intrigued with that one as they go into their weekend. Now here's Villeneuve to the right side of Porkchops, making the move go into the chicane, and Villeneuve has had to absolutely slam on the brakes there to avoid hitting anybody. And I tell you what, he's done a really good job of keeping the car clean. I'll tell you that much. But I tell you what, that nice little 4-car battle we had there, ending in flames. If your name is Humble Hippo, who at the start of that, had the mistake going into Massenet, hit the wall. Oh, Porkchops has just gone off there. That's not good for Porkchops. He's going to pull right back onto the track in front of DNA Nico, and then Porkchops going to go and take it to the pits. Not what he needed whatsoever, and I tell you what, this race goes from stranger to stranger every single lap, I'll tell you that much, but Humble Hippo had the mistake going into Massenet there last lap, and I tell you what, Porkchops wasn't able to really get past him. ZGS was able to make up 3 spots in that whole transition, and he's done just that, currently P5. ZGS was able to get through that cleanly. Then if you saw Porkchops try to send it on the inside on Humble Hippo. Now, if we take a look at the replay of that, if I haven't, initially I thought that was Porkchops' fault, but I'm not sure what I think looking back at it. Obviously, this record race is in real time, and looking at the replay is in post-production, so I'm going to make that decision up for myself separately, as Humble Hippo picking up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Snooker picks up 3 seconds. Oh, that's an interesting angle. A little bit of a walk-up going into Rascasse there for Humble Hippo. KD35, who I believe is on decently fresh tires, to the back of ZGS now, 0.6 of a second the gap into Massenet. Shelley the Turtle picking up a 3-second time penalty for the broadened term of multiple warnings. KD35 looking to put some pressure on ZGS here now. Definitely don't want to make any ridiculous maneuvers here and end somebody's race as they go down into the hairpin. Looks to be all nice and clean for now. I think KD really just, I think almost hit too much of the apex going through that corner. Looks like some Division 2 lads unhappy with the game. KD35 still to the back of ZGS here, as I think right now I want to go take you for a lap. Ooh, what's happened here? Oh, Noganator, what's happened here? Something has just happened with the Noganator. He's gone and left the session. So the Noganator has apparently gone and left the session. I think he maybe missed his braking point going into Saint-Devat there. And he had to throw the car into reverse, get it back on track, but he's done a good job of keeping it clean now. And KD35 still at the back of ZGS here. And I think right now, whilst we have a break in the action, let's go ahead and take you over. Ooh, what's this? That's just, oh, that's somebody that's absolutely done in their front wing, and that's going to be Racing Ginger, who I believe doesn't have any front wing left, and that's the second AlphaTauri of the day that we've seen without a front wing. Here's KD35, still looking to get to the back of ZGS here. We're going to go alongside the Division 1 race right now.
That's not the case at this track, but Jin is now into the pits, triggering the pit phase. Unfortunately, he wasn't probably close enough to make an undercut work if Mystic chooses to cover him. Hack Thomas follows him into the pits, as does Matt Rosie.
Oh, well, the Monkey Mafia is saying hi into chat, so either he's not racing or he crashed out. Which one is it, Monkey?
Oh, so Jin comes out side by side with his teammate who's a lap down and lets him go. That kind of would have been maybe a bit of a heart skip for the British round. And let's see. Oh, Kate Thomas laps the wall. I'm not sure if that would have been enough for damage. It could have just been a bit of curb, to be honest. But he keeps it out of the outside, which would have been more disastrous for him.
No damage to his wing. Now, very importantly, actually, Jin has 5 seconds of clear road ahead of him. Actually, no, he's got detail to overtake on a blue flag.
In the wall, that's Saint-Devat, Yolmir, and A-Type joined him. Picks up a 5-second penalty, and I think damage for sure on that AlphaTauri. Very unfortunate. As Mystic, the last driver on the softs, pits.
And as we're back into the tunnel now, as you saw, the Noganator was able to rejoin the session down now to P5. Kind of got out of the way of KD35 and ZGS here, who are still battling, mind you, only 0.8 of a second the gap. As we look a little bit further back, as we see Mitch Burns hitting now, as, and my telemetry, the leaderboard's gone away. How nice. Good old-fashioned technology not working here, but Shelly the Turtle now putting Snooker ML under pressure. Now, Snooker ML's had about the most up-and-down day you could possibly get as Shelly the Turtle goes into his gearbox. A little bit further up, KD35, still half a second back on ZGS. Now, this is the battle for the podium position. KD35 does have the 3-second time penalty. If we look at the tires, KD35 has gone and made 2 stops. KD35 has 6 seconds. Wow. The plot thickens as Mitch Burns in the Alfa Romeo was actually able to make that stop and not lose any positions in the process, as Racing Ginger looks like he's also gone and DNF'd himself after that. So we're down to 13 now as little group of drivers here. Shelly the Turtle still trying everything he can to get past Snooker as they head down into Saint-Nevat. Surprised we haven't seen as much overtaking through this portion of the circuit. I remember a couple seasons ago in Division 2, Jinnitz winning in one of his first races of his illustrious Division and MidWest F1 career. Went and made 2 overtakes in that same section of the track, back-to-back laps, I believe, and that was in Season 2 of Midwest F1 League. That was Division 2. So definitely some highlights to be had. Now, I tell you what, Deany Nico found himself up to P10 despite having the qualifying ban earlier. And oh, who's that? That's the Ferrari of Shelly the Turtle, who's just made some sort of mistake as suddenly he's fallen off a little bit. I saw him weaving about through the tunnel, and I tell you what, ooh, as we saw there, Pork Chops did not have the line through the chicane that he wanted, and he's lost just a little bit of time there. KD35 with the 6 seconds of penalties, cutting all of the chicane there, cutting all of the hairpin. Right now, the Noganator's in a really good spot, I'll tell you that much. I mean, I wonder how much pressure... Uh-oh, Humble Hippo's DNF'd, and that's going through Rascasse there, as I believe our 2 guys here battling for 3rd place are going to be looking at that very shortly, as J-Steve picks up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. Around the corner they go. Oh, and that is... Wow, not a good spot at all to be going off now, is it? Oh, wow. That's almost ended poorly. Now, suddenly, this has opened the door for the Noganator, who could potentially make some sort of opening here, of some sort of overtake, as those drivers, both KD35 and ZGS, swerved out of the way as far as they possibly could to avoid the automobile carcass of Humble Hippo over there in Rascasse. Now, that's the second DNF. That's not Rascasse, that's Tabac. That is the second DNF we've seen in Tabac in an absolutely terrible spot of the track. We've almost had drivers just completely run into the back of the car there, and that's almost happened again for drivers fighting for 2nd place now. I believe KD35 has just hit the barrier coming into the hairpin now, so definitely losing just a little bit of time. Look a little bit further back. Here's Pork Chops battling with Shelly the Turtle. Now, I tell you what, Pork Chops he's been really patient today. Oh, and that's going to be his chance to make the overtake. Kind of gets into the side of Shelly the Turtle. More contact being made. And ZGS, what's happened to him? He must have made some sort of error going through the chicane, as it looks like he's dropped a couple positions here. Yeah, he's dropped about 3 spots now. That is not what he needed by any means. Villeneuve, a 1/10 of a second behind Shelly the Turtle, going in to Massenet. Shelly the Turtle, a terrible line through Massenet, and Villeneuve's going to get the spot there. Nicely done to keep that one clean. And I wonder what's happened with Shelly the Turtle. Oh, and what's happened here? I don't know if that's Pork Chops or what. Yeah, that's Pork Chops, who's just made that mistake. Now, Pork Chops now missing the end plate on the right-hand side of his wing. Surely that's going to be leaving him at a lack of downforce here. That's definitely going to be hard to deal with here. Pork Chop's definitely going to need to come in and box for that front wing replacement, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 2. I believe that's just the slightest bit of contact being made. Oh, what's this? Pork chop still under pressure here from Villeneuve. Oh, the timing's gone and pooped itself again, hasn't it? Shelly the Turtle! No way! Another one bites the dust. And we... Look at this! It's raining in Monaco! No way! We're having a rain race! We've already had... that's 9 of the 20 drivers on the grid DNF. And now it's raining. You can't make this up, can you? Absolute tomfoolery here in Division 3 as VTech goes and leaves the session. As he's DNF'd a while ago, apparently. Pork chops. P10 at the moment. Seems to be the closest one on track. And now he's missing... So now he's missing the front wing, and it's raining. I have no clue what's going to happen with Pork chops here. He's got a lot of work to do, but it is starting to rain here on the Monaco street circuit at nighttime. Oh boy, this one is going to get fun quickly as Noganator nearly bins his car going through the hairpin there. Very lucky he did and was able to catch the brakes just in the nick of time there as Noganator's internet decides to poop its pants yet again, and it is completely gone. So it is raining here. That mixes things up quite a bit. Now, probably the answer is going to be going to the intermediate tires if it does get to that point. I'm not really sure. Did not get an accurate weather report going through this. KD35 just picked up his third track limits penalty, so that puts him at 9 seconds. Noganator down to the inside through Rascasse. Now in comes KD35. Knuckles not that far back on the Noganator. That's going to bump Knuckles up into P4. Mitch Burns 72. Has racked up a 12-second lead. Proper English from the commentator, whose one job is to English. Yellow flag there going into the hairpin. Just looks like something's potentially pork chops there. This is going to be the second week in a row that we've had an absolute plethora of drivers DNFing here, and it's going to be leaving the point standings in absolute shambles. There's not really a better word for it. It's going to be an absolute shambles as EGS smacks the wall going through Beau Rivage and into Massenet there. I forgot that was called Beau Rivage, to be completely honest, but it looks like ZGS has gone, this is KD35, has gone and boxed for the intermediate tires. ZGS hasn't yet, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens and who's going to be taking what tires. Now, that looks like a driver has gone off there, and I think that was Pork Chops for a period of time, who, by the way, is missing the entirety of his front wing, not just not just all of it. Now, Capital 58's ZGS is DNF'd, and that is on the exit of the Neuville chicane, and ZGS, who was on the medium tires, has just DNF'd, and that is now the halfway point in drivers DNFing. We're up to 10. Man, it's Dianico doing a little bit of Monaco drift through the hairpin, and again through Portier. Don't need wet tires when you have family, I guess, as Mitch Burns makes his way. Now, Mitch Burns still has yet to pit here. J-Stee still has yet to pit. Noganator still has yet to pit, I believe, as Dianico picking up 5 seconds for corner cutting. Not what he needed. But back to Capital 58. Now, he's quite a while behind, but he's the only driver that's going to fit the wet compound tires. I guess he's put his faith in maybe taking the long approached mind, I guess. I don't really know what to call that. Mitch Burns now coming in for his stop. J-Stee, I would assume, is going to be coming in for his stop as he's really gingerly making his way into Rascasse there, as I'm sure he's got no grip whatsoever. Noganator's going to follow in suit. Knuckles is going to be the next driver, which I assuming is going to be doing the exact same thing. Yep, he's coming in. So KD35. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think KD35 is actually going to make up any spots here. Mitch Burns comes out. P1. Knuckles replacing his front wing, overtaken by J-Stee in the pits. But I think the Noganator is going to make up a spot too. Nearly a collision there between these two cars, between Noganator and KD35. No, that's Noganator and Knuckles, that is. KD35 up to P2. 2-lap-old intermediate tires. As now the field starts to get a little bit more spread out than I'd initially like, though we do have a nice little 3-car battle here for position 4, 5th, and 6th. 3 ducks in a row here, and it looks like Capital 58's gone off there in the Neuville chicane. D&E Nico is the last remaining driver on dry tires. Interesting strategy there, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him. Second Noganator as they go down into Portier. Now, I'd tell you what, this one's going to get interesting because I know visibility is absolutely low here. Literally one bump into the wall is going to cause that end plate to just come off the car. And I tell you what, that's something we hadn't thought about just yet, is going through the tunnel is going to be strange because you go from this situation where you're on wet tires in a dry part of the track. You're going to have very limited grip through that section of the track. And now J-Stee has fallen back. This is suddenly a battle for third. A lot of drivers coming through now. I believe J-Stee is being held up by, that is the Mercedes of, I believe, well, it doesn't matter who it is. That's D&E Nico, and oh my goodness, J-Stee. Well, D&E Nico has managed to do a very impressive 360 through the air. Goes into the pits now. I feel bad for J-Stee because there's just nothing he could do. And he's lost positions there. So unfortunate. Now, oh, who's that? That looks to be the Red Bull. J-Stee off to the inside of the track. What's actually happened here? Has he just gone and tried to make contact there with D&E Nico? I believe that's exactly what's happened. Uh-oh. It says J-Stee's in the... So, anyways, back to the race. It looks like... I'm not entirely sure what's happened there whatsoever. But cars coming out of the pits finally choosing to fit the medium compound tires. And I tell you what, we're still waiting for things to happen here. I tell you what, this is so strange because now we've got intervals. Oh my god, what is happening with my drivers here? I don't think there's a single driver within a second on another one. That's not a back marker, so that can be interesting. D&E Nico doing some more Monaco drift coming out of the corner. You see the driver starting to lift through the tunnel there, as I was talking about. That is a severe lack of grip going through that tunnel, which I guess isn't much of a problem in real F1, where drivers don't really have to manage that lack of grip all that much. But in the game right now, it feels insurmountable, as we've seen a couple drivers make a couple mistakes through that section of the track. And I tell you what, not one of these drivers prepared for a wet race today, I'll tell you that much. The funny thing is that we've actually gone more time right now under the wet circumstances without a DNF than we did in the dry, I believe. I think it's at least getting to that point. That'll be an interesting turn of events. Lap 23 of 39 completed here. Not really much is happening. Drivers, Formula One drivers going around the Monaco track. I mean, that's really all there is to say about this right now. However, J-Stee looks to be overtaking the back marker. I believe that's D&E Nico coming up shortly, so maybe something can happen here. And well, I guess with nothing better to do, let's go ahead and throw it over to the Division 2 race this week.
Of making very quick work of Adaltonian. That was a lap car there. I got my hopes up there thinking that he caught up that much quicker, but part of me knew that was a little too good to be true, and it was too good to be true. But I'm sure for Murphy Silly, he'll take it. Some nice visualization practice here for when he gets to do the real thing. Once he does catch up to Hightower, that gap now down to 4.1. And for those who have that keen eye, who might have noticed, Murphy has been making up a lot of time.
Oh man, we're going to bring it right back to Division 3 here as D&E Nico has gone off going into Louis Chiron here as Monaco has claimed another one. Well, that's not Louis Chiron. Well, his car's gone now. Not important. Yeah, and the interval's a bit spread out here. I'm not really sure what to go along with. I mean, we have Capital. No, that's not Capital. We have Knuckles that's about to lap Pork Chop. I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure what to do here, folks. This reminds me of the classic car race we ran last year in F1 2020. And that was a pretty fun one, although we only had 4 people finish the race, but fun it was. As we saw, I believe KD35 came in for another stop. Yeah, he's on fresh intermediate tires here, and that was before D&E Nico decided to end his ability to race here. I think the best part of commentating is just coming up with new ways to say someone DNF'd every time. As KD35 finding a little bit of oversteer coming out of the corner now. He's on time to start going over to the wets. Well, if you ask Snooker ML, yes it is, as he's been on the wets for 3 laps now. Snooker ML back there in P7. Oh, we've got a yellow flag in a sector of the track but that's nobody's in. So good stuff there, I guess. We got Pork Chops has, I believe that's Knuckles behind him. That is Knuckles behind him. Noganator down to P9. I think something could have happened with him, not entirely sure. Nice little train of 3 cars here. Now Mitch Burns has the Alpine in front of him, and then behind him he's got the Haas. All of these drivers at least a lap down, so not much happening here. That's Snooker in the full wets, the only driver in the field that's chosen to go on to the full wets. And it looks like Division 1 has a glitch. That's not good. That is not good there, so the lobby has broken for Division 1, so you're going to see unseen footage, I guess, of the Division 1 race that's gone and that's gone and DNF'd. That's the stream DNF'd. That's probably the most Monaco thing I've ever heard. The entire stream has DNF'd. The entire lobby. Oh my god, what is happening with my timing right now? I have absolutely no clue. Well, Pork Chops has KD35 behind him, and wow, KD35 making that interesting for half a second there, as he's almost completely blown into the side of Pork Chops there, as we got a yellow flag off over in sector number 3. That's over in Tabac, where I believe Villeneuve made some sort of mistake, as KD35 decides to maybe do a little drifting through that section of the track. Now let's look at Capital 58. I mean, someone gone off through the section of the track. It's just yellow flags for now. So I want to point this out. KD35 is starting to make up this gap to Knuckles here. It was about 5 seconds, maybe a lap ago. He's down to within 3.8 to be exact at this moment. So let's see what KD35 can make happen here. He's not got a lot of time left. About 10 laps to go in this race. Definitely more than 10 laps, but of course, you know, for the sake of rounding up and for the sake of making this race get over quickly, 10 laps to go as his JST picks up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. That's interesting news there. KD35, I tell you what, he's coming. 3.5 seconds to gap now. Let's just stay along with him. Let's watch this chase. Three seconds now. He's going for this, ladies and gentlemen. He's not holding anything back. He wants something to happen. He wants to give me something to watch here as he's going into the hairpin. He bumped the wall going into the hairpin, for that matter. Didn't lose any front wing. A 3-second gap now with just over 10 laps to go. Bumps the wall. Oh my god, and just as it was getting interesting, he's gone and hit the wall twice. And apparently he's not lost any front wing, so that's good news. The gap is now back up to 4.5 seconds. That's not so good news. Then goes in, well, Stewards aren't going to be happy with that one. Cuts the corner. And my excitement was for nothing, as Capital 58 now he's only got about 1.5 seconds back on Snooker. This one could get interesting here. Now, Snooker's on the full wets. I mean, I didn't really know if it was too early to go on the full wets or not. I mean, we've been raining for about 10 laps or so now. I'm not really sure when the time for the full wets is going to be, but the rain doesn't look like stopping. Let's see how well Snooker ML tries to defend the position here for P7. Down into Mirabeau. Oh yeah, this is going to get exciting really quickly. Not to mention you got Noganator right behind them. He's in this for position as well. The battle for P7. It's up to 3 drivers. We've got action on the circuit. Snooker ML doing everything he can to hold off these 2 drivers behind him. They're probably... Oh my god, and that... It ends like that. But here comes Noganator. Look to the outside of Capital. Back to the other side. Down to the right side. They're going to bump. Oh my god, and Noganator's on his roof. Goodness gracious. Oh, and then he's going to go and get hit by... Oh my god, that's... What is happening? Noganator has gone and reset to track. Now, that's not his fault. I think the game has done that by itself. But he's gone and reset to track, went into the middle of the circuit, and Capital 58 just ran clean into the back of him. It was right there on the circuit. Capital 58 somehow is not missing any of his front wing, but man, the action that we've just seen. Wow. Unbelievable stuff here. That one was quite interesting. Oh, man. As looks like, yeah, I think that's... Capital 58's going to get past Snooker there. Man, this race just gets more interesting by the minute. And I tell you what, the interesting... Noganator really went upside down going through the corner, slid all the way past the hairpin. I think he even picked up... No, he didn't pick up a time penalty for it. That would have been absolutely hilarious, though, if he did. If he picked up a time penalty for that. That would have been incredible amounts of laughs there. But he was upside down from the entrance to the Neuville chicane and slid through the Neuville chicane. And then went back up on all fours... Had to reset to track in front of Capital 58. And Noganator's found his way back to P9. Now, the incredible part is he hasn't DNF'd through that. That part is just incredible to me as well. He was on his roof. That's that Halo saved another life today. A virtual life it may be, but a life it was. And I tell you what, it's been these past 10 laps been a little bit drab. I'm not gonna lie. That was a little bit of something to keep me interested in, and I knew something was going to happen when we had 3 drivers battling for position with only 9 on the track. But it looks like here Villeneuve's got the... What's happened there? I'm sorry, what is this? Okay, something is exploding back there on that stretch. I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, here's Noganator on the back of Villeneuve. Can we look at penalties? So KD35's got 12 seconds. Snooker's got 11 seconds. Everyone else got 3 at the moment. But the 2 Aston Martins here, you got Knuckles in P2, and then Capital 58 P7 at the moment. I think Aston Martin might just be the biggest winners today. But I think beating them out, actually, looking at it now, is going to be the Alfa Romeo team. Mitch Burns in first. Pork Chops in P6. Not to mention you got the Alpine team of KD35 P3 at the moment, Snooker in P8. So, I'll tell you what, this is definitely going to shake things up here in the constructor standings. Definitely not what we expected, but an interesting race to say the least so far. And something is still is it just me that can see that? It's definitely something, you know, on fire or something over there going into back. But see, look at it here. Can you see that? I mean, that's clearly something exploding, but you know, it's fine. Righto then, anyways, so what we have now is we have Snooker, who, not even close. That's, oh my god. I don't think any of these drivers is actually within striking distance on each other, like even close. Look at KD35, that's 3.5 back on, or 5.3 rather, back on Knuckles, but at the same time, I mean, that's still ridiculously far. Well, I mean, I say ridiculously far. He's going into Anthony Nogues right now. The other drivers, well, he's just hit the wall, so that's going to make it even harder. Yeah, no, it's a bit whack. Capital 58, 3-second time penalty for the vague title of multiple warnings here. The worst part is I don't think any of these positions are going to be solved based on time penalties. It's all just going to come down to track position, and while nobody's even close to each other at the moment, I think the only drivers that are close to each other are the mixture between front runners and back markers. I believe that's Mitch Burns, and I believe this is the Alpine of Snooker in front of him. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So that's really the only action on track right now. It's still a decent amount of laps left to go now. Anything can happen here. Now, I will say, it has stopped raining. Or has it? It definitely looks like it stopped raining. That could provide for some entertainment, I will say. The track is definitely still wet, but I mean, as you can see, it's not raining anymore. The rain has completely halted. The track is surely going to start drying up sooner rather than later. I mean, I don't think it's going to matter all that much, but I mean, like, I feel like something could definitely happen here. I mean, I say the rain has stopped. It's not visible anymore. There's still drops showing up on the camera lens and on the camera lens, but definitely doesn't look like it's raining. JC, the next driver to go a lap down. Plus an entire lap. That's the interval. Can we look at the leader? Yeah. So only 3 drivers on the lead lap here. Mitch Burns, Knuckles, and KD35. Pork Chops a lap down, J-Steel a lap down, Villeneuve a lap down, Capital 58 2 laps down, Snooker 3 laps down. And what do we have here? This is a Alfa Romeo of Pork Chops, and he's got, I believe this is Capital 58 in front of him. Yeah, that's exactly who it is. Capital 58 hitting the wall, going through the chicane. He's going to let Pork Chops pass. Don't think he's going to let J-Steel pass, though, and I think J-Steel's not going to be happy with that one. Now, I want to give a quick shout out to you Ulek Hovland or something. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he's gone and made us this amazing under investigation graphics. And I said to him, I said, listen, it's probably going to be better than mine at least, and you know that next week is going to be the right time to have it as we are in Monaco. And I'm assuming we've gotten a lot of them. There's a lot of drivers, 11 drivers been DNF'd. $11 drivers DNF'd. A couple of them were interesting, to say the least. No Gnader, upside down. But, oh man. I don't know what... Oh, suddenly I'm dying on the spot. That's interesting. Get some more water, I mean. 4 laps. Now, Alfa Romeo, I mean, they currently sit P8 in constructors right now, so this is going to help them quite a lot here. To have both drivers finish inside the top 5. Pork Chop's a place off the podium, though he's also a lap off of it, so I don't think that holds as much water as he'd like to believe. But Pork Chop's, I think, a best from what I've seen of him so far, a P4 in both divisions that I've commentated. He's gone and gotten P4. I say gone and gotten. The race is definitely not over yet, but yeah, you can't blame me, can you? Pork Chop's now no longer a lap down. Has he just unlapped himself? I believe he could have. I'm not really sure. The timing has not really been too kind to me this whole race so far. The track definitely looks to be drying up here. There's KD35 has come in now, although it's not going to mean anything. Nobody's even close. Now, KD35 has gone and put on another set of intermediate tires. That surprises me just a little bit. I was kind of thinking he would start to think for the dries, although he's gone and fit another pair of intermediates. The track definitely looks to be drying up here. What? Doesn't seem to be bothering him any. Jasty still hovering about 5 seconds back on Pork Chops. That hasn't changed almost at all this race. Now, if you remember last season in Division 2, there was always something going on in the Division 2 race, and I tell you what, I tell you what, the first half of the race was pretty fun to watch for the Division 3 guys. I mean, we had a lot of action going on. Yeah, we had a lot of DNFs, but I think we've done okay. I tell you what, second half of the race a bit boring, but that's usually how F1 races go, anyways. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't complain too much if I were you. And now we have Knuckles, who I believe this is. Oh. Villeneuve has DNF'd on exit of the tunnel. Let's see if the Noganator can show us what's happened here. And yeah, he's done exactly what K-Dog's done. Oh my god! And Noganator just drives over the back. How has Noganator been in the air twice and still has failed to DNF himself? I have monster truck or something. Wow, so our first confirmed under investigation of the night, Humble Hippo is going to be under investigation for an incident on lap 2 between him and Shelly the Turtle. So interesting there. So that is our first steward report of the night. Not really sure what's happened there. I'll have to put up some sort of replay on that. Maybe now, to decipher what's happened. Noganator's just absolutely indestructible, apparently. I don't get it. Snooker ML is in pitting, replacing his front wing. JST's fallen back to 6 seconds behind. Villeneuve might manage P7 here. Snooker is 224 off. Villeneuve has DNF'd. But the thing is, I think Snooker might just be 2 laps down behind Villeneuve here. That's going to be interesting. I'm not really sure how this is going to play out. Imagine Noganator Villeneuve still getting points. Another steward report coming in now. It's from the VTech, and he is going ahead and reporting Capital 58 for an unsafe re-entry. So Capital 58 under investigation on lap 3 for a unsafe re-entry, and I believe that is that did cause VTech's DNF, is what's gone and happened there. So definitely something worth looking into. That is our second official under investigation of the night. As I told you, I'm recording this race in real time, so this is all just happening now. Villeneuve down to P8. Can he stay within the points? I'm still confused on what this explosion is here on the backstretch, but it's whatever. Division 1 guys complaining about the game. Mitch Burns just completely ahead of the field here as he starts finally his final lap of the Monaco Grand Prix as he exits Anthony Nogues now. And we still have to get final lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. Mitch Burns making his way through Sandoval. Knuckles closing in behind, 37 seconds back. Mitch Burns still in first place. JST starting to slowly fall off. That was the closest battle in the field, and DRS now enabled. So of course we get the dry track now. We could have gotten it, maybe 3 laps ago to maybe make some pit stop shakeups, but I guess that's just not going to be the move here. Mitch Burns has the Alpine of, I believe that's Snooker, right in front of him here, P7. KD35 with 18 seconds of penalties. I believe he's going to win the penalty race tonight. Mitch Burns through the Neuville chicane for the final time. Into Tabac. He's driving really slow because he's got wet tires on a dry track. I'd pay him actual money if he was to come win the race in the pits right now. Actual money I would pay to see him win this race like that. He's not going to do it. But Mitch Burns coming out of the final corner. The reserve for Alfa Romeo. He's going to win the Monaco Grand Prix in spectacular fashion. 31 seconds the gap between him and second place Knuckles. Mitch Burns, an absolutely dominant showing here. And he's done brilliantly. Hasn't made a mistake all night. And now I'm just interested to see if Noganator's going to come and get past Villeneuve here. This is about where Villeneuve DNF'd. And I believe, oh my god, I think Villeneuve's going to stay in the points. And I believe that's, someone's just gone off behind him. Knuckles comes home second. KD35 comes home third. Pork Chops in fourth. A great day for Pork Chops that was. I believe Villeneuve is going to get P8 despite DNFing. Oh man, this game is interesting. Noganator comes around the final corner. And that's not it, because there's still 2 other drivers left to do the thing. Capital 58 comes to the line now, and then Snooker is going to come to the line eventually. He's around the final corner. Snooker wins. I'm joking. He's got this. Oh my god, I've had nothing to do for 20 laps. Please help me. Mitch Burns taking the win in Division 3, reserving in the Alfa Romeo garage, and he comes out and puts on an absolute show. Snooker getting driver of the day. And I tell you what, I'd be happy if I was the Alfa Romeo team, I'll tell you that much, as a Canadian steps onto the top step of the podium. Coming in now, another driver under investigation. Shelly the Turtle, Villeneuve, and Pork Chops. Something happening there. As we're about to go into our final results momentarily, as the lucky guy from Alfa Romeo gets doused with champagne. I'm bored. So, to fill out the end of the race, Mitch Burns in the Alfa Romeo takes P1, Knuckles in second, KD35 third, Pork Chops in fourth, JST fifth, Capital 58 in sixth, Snooker in seventh. Eighth is Villeneuve now. He DNF'd. And behind Snooker apparently was all DNFs. So unfortunate things there for everyone else in the field. Hopefully we're going to get to these interviews right now. And if not, have a good night. Okay, I am here with, once again, Division 3 is slacking with drivers getting into the interview booth. Well, Knuckles, he's here. He's finished second on I guess probably the most up and down race I've ever broadcasted. Probably one of the most up and down races for all of Midwest F1. But Knuckles, you did it. Congratulations on your second place. Now, this was a big bounce back for you after last week in Spain. I mean, what was your mindset going into this race?
Let's see. Finish was my mindset. So. Yeah, no, it was just keep it on the track and the walls, and fortunately worked out. I can honestly say I think that's the first Monaco race I've done without a penalty, so it's all right. I'm looking here at the best times. My pace wasn't too bad either, so I think I got lucky with a couple, maybe one or two of the fast guys crashing out, but my pace was still pretty good, so yeah, worked out in my favor.
I tell you what, you definitely did what you intended, which was finish the race. Only one of, I believe, 7 drivers to accomplish that feat tonight.
Oh, geez.
So well done to that. We had flips, we had back markers getting into the way, we had pork chops almost take out a driver. It was an incredible night of racing. But next week, oh boy, I should have had this on hand. I want to ask you real quick, so we had the rain kind of midway through the race. Were you kind of planning for that, or did that catch you by surprise a little bit?
Well, I was trying to stretch the softs. I was going to see if I could stretch the softs till the rain came. And the first time Jeff came on and said it was like 15 minutes out, my softs were maybe 28%. And I was like, all right, I can stretch it out. And then every time he came on the radio, he just kept saying 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. So I was like, God, I could be on these softs until lap 25. And I can't remember when the rain came out. I think it was close to lap. Actually, I can check the race director here. So the rain came out. Let's see here, lap 20. Yeah, lap 20. So I probably could have stretched those softs, but I mean, it wouldn't have put me ahead of Mitch. So I think I got too far behind Mitch from just from all the traffic starting in P8. So even if I had stretched the softs until the rain came, it would have. I don't think I would have had a position on him. So.
Well, I tell you what, it's been a good day for your Aston Martin team in general, actually. Last week was it was a meh week at best, but tonight you've gone and was one of only, I believe, 2 teams that had both drivers finish the race, the other being Alpine that managed 3rd and 7th. You guys 2nd and 6th, respectively, so not bad at all. Yeah, definitely taking home a good points haul here tonight, but as we go next week into Brazil, now Brazil's another one of those tracks that can definitely catch you by surprise in a couple places, definitely provides some great action. How do you feel about this next race coming up?
You know what, Brazil's always a good time, whether you're good at it, bad at it, whether it's one of your better tracks or not. It's always got some excitement, it's always a good time, so yeah, very much looking forward to Brazil next week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations on the comeback drive here at going through the Monaco Death Race. Is what I'm dubbing this from now on.
Appreciate it. You have a good night.
You too, sir. Absolutely brilliantly done. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week as we take on Sao Paulo for Week 3 here of Division 3.